Ethan Grant woke up to warmth. Soft, supple warmth pressing against his side, a slow, steady breath tickling his neck. His brain, still fogged with sleep and last night's alien moonshine, took a moment to register two things. 1. That was not his blanket. 2. Something was wrapped around his waist. His eyes snapped open. She was right there. A blue-skinned, violet-eyed, gorgeously curvy alien woman, curled up against him like a satisfied cat. Her hair, or was it tentacles, glistened faintly in the dim light of the tent, pulsing with faint bioluminescence. She blinked at him sleepily and smiled. "Good morning, mate," Ethan screamed. Or at least he tried. It came out more like a strangled "guh," because the warm, bare alien woman chose that exact moment to stretch against him, pressing her very naked body closer. His brain short-circuited. "What the hell?" He tried scrambling back, but the tent wasn't exactly a five-star hotel. It was small, and every movement just made things worse. Zywilani, that's what she called herself, propped herself up on one elbow, watching him with a very satisfied expression. Her violet eyes sparkled. "You're very loud in the morning, husband." Ethan almost swallowed his tongue. "Husband? No, no, no. This is a mistake. I am not your husband." He gestured wildly between them. You just broke into my tent." She gave him a very patient look, like he was a particularly slow child. "You put up a tent in the middle of our lands. You left the flap open. It's the universal sign of invitation." Ethan choked. "That is not a universal sign of anything." Zywilani tilted her head. "Among my people it is. It means you're seeking a mate." Ethan's brain buffered. The hell kind of logic was that? She continued, as if this was all perfectly normal. "I accepted your invitation. We slept together. The bonding is complete. Now we are joined forever." Ethan had been through some shit in his life. Surviving a crash landing on an unknown planet? Check. Dealing with weird alien customs? Check. But waking up accidentally married to an enthusiastic, clingy alien woman? That was a new one. He needed to fix this. Fast. "Look, there's been a mistake. The tent ripped open. Ethan flinched as bright light flooded in, revealing a crowd. A very large, very excited crowd of aliens gathered outside. They cheered at the sight of him and Zywilani together. Ethan wanted to die. An elder stepped forward, an old alien dude with a long, sagging neck and way too many piercings. He smiled warmly at Ethan. "Welcome, honored son-in-law." Ethan made a noise like a dying bird. "May your loins be fruitful, and your union blessed with many, many eggs." Ethan was going to pass out. Zywilani beamed, sitting up proudly. "See? They approve." She grabbed his hand and held it up like he was a goddamn champion. The crowd cheered louder. Ethan jerked his hand away. "I think I need to sit down." Zywilani patted his arm. "That's normal. Human males often need rest before performing." "Before performing?" "Oh, for fuck's sake, we didn't even do anything," Ethan hissed. "Nothing happened. We just slept." The elder gasped, horrified. Zywilani winced. "Oh, you weren't supposed to say that out loud." The crowd fell silent. Ethan's stomach dropped. The elder gave him a very grave look. "You did not complete the ritual?" Ethan's eye twitched. "There was no ritual," murmurs spread. A few of the aliens looked at Zywilani with pity. A small child covered her ear holes. Zywilani sighed dramatically. "I'm so embarrassed," she muttered. Ethan threw up his hands. "I'm sorry. Are you the victim here?" The elder cleared his throat. "Well, this is unfortunate." He gestured, and suddenly, A massive alien with a terrifyingly large ceremonial headdress stepped forward. Ethan gulped. Who's that? Zywilani didn't look at him. That's my father. Ethan felt all the blood drain from his face. The 7-foot-tall alien glared down at him, tusks twitching. His voice rumbled. You refuse my daughter? Ethan considered his options. Explain the misunderstanding and risk getting eaten. Lie and hope for the best. Pass out. He was seriously considering option 3. Before he could speak, Zywilani grabbed his arm. Oh, he's just nervous, she said quickly. He's, saving his strength for later. The elder nodded approvingly. Ah, he follows the path of endurance mating. Ethan wheezed. The what? The elder smiled. It is the rarest and most sacred form of bonding. Zywilani nodded furiously. Yes, he is an expert at that. So we'll just, take our time. Ethan stared at her. She was lying out of her ass. But her father's glare softened. Then we shall allow you the privacy needed to fulfill the bond. Ethan relaxed for all of 5 seconds. Then the elder clapped his hands. Prepare the wedding feast. By nightfall, they shall consummate their union. The crowd erupted into cheers. Ethan was going to throw up. Zywilani patted his back. Well, husband, she purred. You better start stretching. Ethan let out a slow, broken sigh. Yeah, he muttered. I definitely didn't expect this. Ethan sat on a rock, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. Around him, the alien village was in full celebration mode. Drums pounded, fires roared, and the smell of something roasting filled the air. The wedding feast. His wedding feast. Zywilani sat beside him, humming happily, as if this wasn't a total nightmare. Ethan rubbed his face. I need a drink. Zywilani perked up. Oh, we have something strong. She motioned to a nearby alien, who hurried over with a bubbling, smoking drink in a carved skull. Ethan squinted at it. What's in it? The alien grinned too wide. It is made from the fermented glands of the forest crawlers. Ethan shoved it back. You know what? I'm suddenly sober. Zywilani laughed. You're very amusing, husband. He groaned. Stop calling me that. She leaned in, her voice dropping to a purr. Would you prefer mate? Darling? My delicious human stud? Ethan choked on air. Zywilani giggled. Oh, I like that one. A deep voice rumbled behind them. Human. Ethan jumped. It was her father. Ethan swallowed hard. Yes. The massive alien warrior loomed over him. Tonight you must prove your strength. Ethan's stomach dropped. How? The elder grinned. 3 trials. Ethan sighed. Of course. There are trials. Because why wouldn't there be trials? Zywilani nudged him. Don't worry, husband. The trials are simple. Ethan eyed her warily. Define simple. She smiled too sweetly. The first is a test of endurance. A group of aliens dragged something into the firelight. Ethan squinted. It was a giant, spiked fruit. Zywilani clapped her hands. Oh, they picked the jerk-off fruit. This will be fun. Ethan frowned. What do I do with it? Her father grinned. You eat it. Ethan looked at the deadly-looking fruit. Isn't it covered in spikes? The elder nodded. Yes. Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose. And do I get a knife? A tool? Anything? Zywilani shook her head. No, silly. You must use your teeth. Ethan wanted to scream. But the entire village was watching. Chanting. Cheering. He sighed through his nose. Fine. Whatever. It was a fruit. He could handle a fruit. Probably. He picked it up. It was heavy as hell. The spikes dug into his palms. Zywilani whispered. Try not to bleed too much. Great advice. Very helpful. The crowd fell silent. Ethan opened his mouth, braced himself, and bit down. Instant regret. His teeth sank into something tough, fibrous, and vaguely slimy. Juice burst into his mouth, sweet, sour, and burning hot. His lips went numb immediately. Zywilani winced. Oh! Spicy batch. Ethan's eyes watered. He forced himself to chew, swallow, and smile. Delicious, he wheezed. The elder laughed. Good. Now eat the rest. Ethan stared at the monstrous fruit in his hands. He was gonna die. 30 agonizing minutes later, Ethan sat slumped against a log, mouth on fire, half delirious from spice overload. Zywilani fanned him. You did great. Ethan groaned. Tell my stomach that. The elder clapped his hands. On to the second trial. Ethan sat up way too fast. Wait already. Zywilani nodded. Yes. This one is easy. Ethan squinted at her. Define easy. She gestured to a group of alien men. Each one gripped a long, rope-like creature that slithered and twisted in their hands. Ethan frowned. What are those? Her father grinned. Wrestling eels. Ethan's eye twitched. Wrestling, what? The elder handed him a very angry, very muscular-looking eel. Survive for 3 minutes. Ethan stared at the flailing creature. Oh, for fuck's sake! Before he could react, the eel whipped around his arms and started strangling him. Zywilani cheered. Go, husband! Ethan struggled violently. The eel tightened. He gasped. This is not easy. Just relax, Zywilani called. Relax? It's strangling me. Exactly. If you struggle, it tightens. Ethan stopped struggling. The eel loosened slightly. He took a deep breath. Okay, I got this. Then the eel bit him. On the inner thigh. Ethan screamed. The villagers cheered. Zywilani giggled. Oh, it likes you. Ethan barely survived the 3 minutes. When the eel was finally yanked off him, he collapsed onto the ground, panting. He was covered in bruises, his leg throbbed, and his pride was in shambles. Zywilani kneeled beside him. Ready for the third trial? Ethan groaned. Do I get a choice? Her father chuckled. No. He sighed. Of course not. The elder raised a hand. The final trial is the test of passion. Ethan froze. The entire village watched in anticipation. Zywilani smirked. I like this one. Ethan felt fear. The elder grinned. You must prove your affection for your mate with a kiss. Ethan blinked. Wait. That's it? Zywilani tilted her head. You sound disappointed. No, after the last 2 trials, I thought it'd be something insane. Zywilani grinned. Depends how you do it. Ethan hesitated. All eyes were on him. Zywilani leaned in, eyes half-lidded. Come on, human. Show them your passion. Ethan's throat went dry. Her soft lips parted slightly. Shit. He could either kiss her and make it convincing, or risk pissing off an entire village of aliens. Zywilani arched a brow. What's wrong? Scared? Ethan gritted his teeth. Oh, she was smug. Fine. 2 could play that game. With a slow, deliberate movement, Ethan grabbed her waist, pulled her in, and kissed her. The village exploded into cheers. Zywilani melted against him, making a pleased sound. Ethan pulled back, feeling way too warm. She licked her lips. Not bad, husband. The elder beamed. The trials are complete. Let the wedding commence. Ethan's brain stalled. Wait, what? Ethan sat at the center of the village, watching in horror as the aliens constructed a massive ceremonial platform decorated with glowing vines, carved totems, and what looked like animal skulls. Lots of them. Drums pounded. Voices chanted. The air smelled of burning herbs, roasted meat, and something suspiciously musky. Zywilani stretched beside him, looking absolutely unbothered. "You seem tense, husband," Ethan groaned. "Oh, really? I wonder why." She nudged him playfully. "It's a great honor to be chosen by me, you know." "Yeah, I got that memo." He ran a hand through his hair. "You do realize I'm not actually marrying you, right?" Zywilani gasped, clutching her chest in exaggerated offense. "Husband, are you saying last night meant nothing to you?" Ethan nearly choked. "What?" "Nothing happened." She grinned. "But the village doesn't know that." Ethan looked at her, horrified. "Oh, you're enjoying this." "A little?" She flicked her tail. "It's cute when you panic." Before he could respond, her father, ***, the massive, terrifying elder, ***, approached, clapping a heavy hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Human! The ceremony begins soon." Ethan forced a weak smile. "Oh, great. Can't wait." The elder leaned in, grinning. "Do not be nervous. The bonding ritual is simple." Ethan tensed. "Define simple." The elder chuckled. "First, we paint you in sacred oils to prepare your body for union." Ethan squinted. "Oils?" Zywilani leaned in, smirking. "They tingle." Ethan's stomach dropped. "Tingle how?" Before anyone could answer, two massive warriors grabbed him, hauling him toward a nearby hut. "Oh, come on!" Inside, several aliens surrounded him, holding bowls of glowing liquid. One grinned. "Remove your garments." Ethan's eyes widened. "Excuse me?" Zywilani poked her head inside. "It's tradition." Ethan turned on her. "I swear to God, if this stuff burns..." "It's fine," she said innocently. "Mostly." Ethan glared. "That's not reassuring." The aliens grabbed him. Okay. I can do it myself." Minutes later, Ethan stood half-naked, arms crossed, glaring at nothing as the aliens rubbed mysterious glowing oils all over his body. The tingling started immediately. His skin felt warm. Then hot. Then, oh, what the hell? Ethan's entire body buzzed like he'd been dunked in liquid aphrodisiac. He groaned. "What the fuck is in this stuff?" Zywilani grinned. "It enhances pleasure. Helps with stamina." Ethan stared. "Why do I need stamina?" The elder appeared in the doorway. "It is time." Ethan was dragged outside, still tingling uncomfortably. The village erupted into cheers. At the center of the ceremonial platform, Zywilani stood in ornate tribal garments, or rather, a barely-there wrap that did nothing to cover her curves. Her tail flicked as she gave him a slow, sultry once-over. Ethan's brain short-circuited. "Like what you see, husband?" He cleared his throat. No comment." The elder raised his arms. "We now begin the sacred dance of passion." Ethan frowned. "The what?" Zywilani grabbed his hands. "Follow my lead." Before he could argue, she pressed against him, moving her hips way too smoothly. The music picked up, the drums pounding with a rhythm that felt way too suggestive. Ethan tried to keep up. He really did. But between the oils making his body hypersensitive, the way Zywilani moved against him, and the crowd cheering every time they got too close, he was in serious trouble. Zywilani laughed breathlessly. "Relax, human. You're stiff." Ethan gritted his teeth. "Yeah, I fucking noticed." The dance grew more intense. Zywilani twirled, wrapped her tail around his waist, and yanked him closer. Their bodies pressed flush. Her breath was warm against his skin. You're not bad, she whispered. Ethan swallowed hard. I have no idea what I'm doing. She grinned. That makes two of us. The music hit a crescendo. Zywilani spun one last time, collapsing into his arms. The village roared with approval. The elder raised his arms. The bond is nearly complete. Ethan tensed. Wait. Nearly? Zywilani licked her lips. Final step, husband. Ethan's stomach dropped. The elder gestured to a large, ceremonial bed in the center of the platform. To finalize the union, you must consummate before the gods. Ethan froze. Zywilani smirked. Nervous? He gaped. You, in front of everyone. Zywilani giggled. Relax. It's symbolic. You just have to get in bed with me. Ethan exhaled. Oh, thank God. Zywilani dragged him toward the bed. He climbed in, still hyper-aware of the oils tingling on his skin. She settled beside him, draping an arm over his chest. See? Easy. Ethan nodded, exhaling. Yeah. This isn't so bad. The elder clapped. Now, to seal the bond, you must remain in bed until sunrise. Ethan's relief vanished. Wait. Sunrise? Zywilani smiled innocently. Oh, did I not mention? If you leave the bed before morning, it's considered an insult to my honor. Ethan's eye twitched. Of course it is. The elder stepped back. May the gods bless your union. Let the wedding night begin. The village erupted in celebration. The music swelled. Zywilani snuggled closer, her warm breath against his ear. Looks like you're stuck with me, husband. Ethan groaned. He was never getting out of this. Ethan stared at the ceiling of the ceremonial hut, lying stiff as a board while Zywilani draped herself across his chest like an oversized cat. Outside, the villagers sang, laughed, and, judging by the noises, possibly engaged in their own wedding night celebrations. The walls were not soundproof. Zywilani hummed, tail lazily curling around his wrist. You're really tense. Ethan exhaled sharply. Gee, wonder why. She propped herself up, resting her chin on his chest. You're making such a fuss. It's one night. Just pretend to be my devoted husband until sunrise, and then you can run off and... I don't know, whatever it is humans do. He scowled. I wasn't planning on getting married on this mission, believe it or not. She smirked. Oh, and here I thought you were secretly desperate for an alien wife. He snorted. Sure. This is exactly how I pictured my life going. She traced lazy circles on his chest. Could be worse. He arched a brow. How? She grinned. They could have made us do the full ceremony. He froze. Wait. This isn't the full ceremony? She giggled. Oh, no. The real ritual has 4 days of trials, multiple public blessings, and a lot more oils. Ethan's eye twitched. 4 days? She yawned, stretching like a lazy predator. And then the official fertility rite. Ethan choked. The what now? She winked. Don't worry. We skipped that part. Ethan groaned into his hands. I hate everything. Zywilani laughed, settling back against him. Relax, human. It's not like I'm forcing you to actually stay married to me. He peeked through his fingers. You're not. She smirked. Well, I could if I wanted to. He glared. Not funny. She purred. Oh, it's a little funny. He sighed. So come morning, I can just walk away, and this all goes away. She hesitated. His stomach dropped. Zywilani. She winced. Technically, yes. But... He groaned. There's a but. Of course there's a but. She sighed, flicking her tail. If you leave at sunrise, the village will see it as a sign of divine rejection. My family will be disgraced. Ethan sat up. What? She waved a hand. Nothing bad will happen to me. Just, exile. Social death. Possible banishment from mating pools. Ethan gawked. Possible what? She shrugged. No big deal. He rubbed his temples. You knew this would happen, didn't you? She bit her lip, eyes twinkling. Maybe, he groaned, falling back onto the furs. You're evil, she giggled. No, I'm opportunistic. Silence stretched between them. Outside, the village still celebrated. The sounds of passion echoed from distant huts. Ethan cleared his throat. Your people are really into weddings, huh? She smirked. Mating is a sacred act, human. He arched a brow. Yeah? Because it really sounds like a sport out there. She giggled. It's both. He sighed. Of course it is. She rolled onto her side, watching him. We don't have to just lie here. His stomach clenched. Zywilani. She traced a claw along his chest. You are technically my husband for the night. He swallowed hard. Temporarily. She licked her lips. One night is all it takes. His breath hitched. You're enjoying this way too much. She smirked. And you're overthinking. His muscles tensed as she trailed her fingers lower, claws teasing just above his waistband. He caught her wrist. This isn't funny, she purred. I'm not joking. His heartbeat thundered. Her eyes glowed in the dim light. The warm oil still tingled on his skin. He exhaled sharply. You're dangerous. She grinned. And you like it. His grip tightened. Her smirk widened. Then, a loud crash outside shattered the moment. Ethan jerked upright. What the hell was that? Zywilani sighed. Probably one of the warriors drinking too much root wine. Ethan listened. More shouting. Not the happy kind. He frowned. That doesn't sound like a drunk guy. Zywilani's ears twitched. Then she stiffened. Ethan noticed. What? She sat up quickly. Stay here. He grabbed her arm. Oh, hell no. What's going on? She hesitated. It might be nothing. Another crash. More yelling. Then a deep, guttural growl. Ethan's blood ran cold. Zywilani cursed. Shit! Ethan scrambled up. Okay, that's not nothing. She grabbed a weapon from the corner. Stay inside. He snorted. Like hell. She gave him a look. You're unarmed, naked, and glowing. He scowled. Not my fault. You let them oil me up. The hut door burst open. A young warrior stumbled inside, bloody and panting. Zywilani caught him. What happened? The warrior gasped. Raiders. A hunting party. They found us. Ethan stiffened. Raiders? Zywilani's eyes darkened. Slavers. Ethan's fists clenched. Outside, a deep voice bellowed. Bring us the human. Ethan froze. Zywilani cursed. They saw you. The warrior gasped. They say humans are valuable. They think you're some kind of prize. Ethan muttered. Fucking fantastic. Zywilani growled. We won't let them take you. Ethan exhaled. Guess I really am part of the tribe now, huh? She smirked, despite the tension. Told you. You're mine. Outside, the village prepared for war. Ethan rolled his shoulders, cracking his neck. Well, guess this honeymoon's over.